Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Whispers from the Void. As you have probably already been listening, and as you already know, I'm Evan.
And I'm Phil, Davides for the Intimates. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Today is again, all our guests are special, and they're all my favorite. I love all of my children. So today we have one of Phil's favorite brewers. Shortly will probably become one of mine, as I have some very cool brews as well. Today we have Drew Stevens from Kahnawake Brewing Company. How are you doing, Drew?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in, aren't we all?
Yeah, hanging in there. Well, I mean, my voice just got fucked by the other day, so I'm like recovering, and I got to recover quick because there's Beer Garden, which is an event in Montreal this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I found. You have a vocal problem, so like you will have to scream and talk to people at Beer Garden.
Yeah, exactly.
You will have to talk to Matt again because he's gonna be there.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there, but I have an episode to edit, which is this episode, so I cannot be there.
Just go.
Yeah.
But I was there, like I was in Montreal like 1 week ago, so that explains that. That's good for me. I was in Montreal. I got some 5 Baron, so I'm like fucking happy.
Nice.
So yeah.
See, that was my question. I know I'm supposed to be the one getting the questions, but that was my question to you, Phil. If you were going to Beer Garden, because Matt had told me a bunch of metal guys were coming down. So
yeah, I wanted to go. Like I said, I wanted to go, but I have so much thing to do. Like the episode, like I take a lot, like mostly 1 to 2 days to edit the episode.
Okay.
And when it's like 1 hour, like sometimes it's just long to edit. But yeah, but I wanted to go. But I will maybe go back maybe in October for, I think there's like Mondial de la Bière. Terrasse de la Mondial de la Bière.
Yeah.
So maybe I will go there. But yeah. So there's that. And yeah, and you can ask us questions. That's the fun with those interviews. If you want to ask us questions to Evan, to you can do it. No problem. It's like we are in the basement and we talk.
Okay. Cool.
It's a nicely lit basement. It is not dim and dark and stingy. Like we're not. It's not like a sex dungeon or anything.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's no shade given for sex dungeon.
Yeah.
I do have another question though. Can we get cracking on a beer or?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm actually throwing it back down your way, Evan. I got a U.S. beer in my hands from Maine. For fuck's sake, these virtual backwards stuff, guys. Anyways, I'll just say what it is. Maine Beer Company, Wolf's Neck IPA. So I've never had this one before, and yeah, I was very fortunate. It got shipped up for my birthday in a box full of other goodies. So this is one of the few stragglers that are left.
That's perfect.
It's a good. I like their beer. I wish they did more with their labels, but hey, what are you gonna do? Good beer is good beer.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Phil, do you want to go next?
Let's go.
Because we might as well go together, because I'm assuming we're gonna open the same one.
Okay, you want to open the...
Dude, it's the first time in show history this has ever happened.
Okay, people. So let's go, but I will have to take
This is a historic moment.
I will have to take this because I want to keep the other glass for a pills.
Okay.
So, let's go with... Is it this one?
Yes.
You wanted the other one. You wanted the other one. That's why you hesitated.
No, I wanted this one. Because I know you have this one. I know you have this one.
Perfect. So we have the All Right by Kahnawake Brewing. What a surprise. It's not like I have a glass and a shirt and some beer of Kahnawake.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? Olive oil mysteries.
Studio magic.
Dude, the UPS guy was not kind to the top of this can, I tell you what.
All right,
Oh.
this is where Phil does his editing magic because I have to go get a bottle opener. Like, who the fuck has bottles now?
Don't worry. We're gonna keep talking.
There you go.
I tend to just keep talking.
Yeah, we don't do
I'll
really
just
anything.
keep
We don't like
going.
that. I fucking don't like that. No, he's going in the brewery. You don't know, but
Dude,
he's
he
in
just
front
ran
of the
into
brewery.
the front door, dude. What the fuck?
Like, he was like, hey, waitress, do you have a bottle opener?
Mm,
God damn it. I always
That's
have
good.
a bottle opener.
that's good.
Like, I could have edited this and just throw it to him.
Yeah. I'm gonna be him catching it. Like,
God damn it.
I like this beer. This is good.
This one is very good.
Is that how you say water in French?
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Ew. Oh wait, yeah, it's O.
And
It's
then
like the letter O.
org.
You say O. Just O.
Oh.
O.
So then
yeah.
what's barley? Org.
Barley, it's orge.
Or G.
What the fuck? What the hell are you getting
It's an
orgy out
orgy
of
of
that?
all sorts. It's a big orgy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but like Evan, if you read the ingredients like water O, barley orge, wheat blé, hops houblon, and yeast liver, like you don't have. It's not rocket science. Come on,
Dude, I'll tell you what. If I drank, we'll say 8. If I drank like 8 Imperials, I could probably pronounce those words. Like
Let's get on
strong
it, motherfucker.
Imperial beers, you know?
I was wondering where that was going.
Yeah, I might have a chance if that were the case.
So,
Yeah, as
let's
you can
go
see in
with-
Canada, we're in a different time zone. It's sunny where I am.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know.
We were just saying you had to go inside the brewery to get your bottle opener.
I know, shit. I don't have.
Let's start off with a softball. How's business? How's things going over there at Kahnawake?
It's going pretty good, man. I really can't complain. Especially us getting into canning during COVID, I guess much like a lot of people in the world. So we released our first cans in August of last year and really exploded. It really got our beers a lot further out. Well, first in the province and then slowly outwards. You know, we had a couple people from Ontario and stuff like that. Say a lot of good things online about us too. So, but yeah, the cans have definitely got our name out there a lot further, which is great because it's getting people chatting online, and that's how you know, that word of mouth, and it makes it a little bit easier for us to get people in the door. But yeah, and then when we're able to reopen the doors back in mid-May, it's been pretty good, even with the you know, we have to distance tables and so reduce capacity, and even with that, it's been pretty good. So we just got to keep that momentum up, you know. Like we'd love to get some more tables in there, but we got some different restrictions here on the territory, and keep living life like that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that's the question. Like, how
Do you not like
this
my
idea
question?
How this idea came about doing a brewery in a territory, a Mohawk territory. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not First Nations by any means. I grew up in the town beside it, which is called Chateauguay. Had friends from the territory for a long time. I played hockey with a lot of them, went to school with a lot of them, and had a metal band with a lot of them. I was actually the only white dude in the band, actually. But yeah, and I don't know. I guess I was always on the territory, you know, growing up and stuff, and just kind of through a mutual contact met my 2 other business partners, and they're from the territory. They're from Kahnawake, so yeah, we were looking around for a spot to set up our brewery, and Matt owns the property that we're on, and he owns like the building and all that stuff. And he's like, hey, I had a couple of businesses move out. We got a couple of locals opened up, and have a storage. It's like it was actually more of another building that he was using for storage. He's like, I could just clear out that stuff, and we can set up the brewery in there and set up the bar in front. And so, yeah, all right, let's do it. We could do whatever we want. Whereas like some breweries, they'll rent a place, and some of the landlords just don't want you like making holes and throwing drains everywhere and stuff like that. So yeah, it just kind of made sense for us to set up there, and that's how we got started there.
That's interesting. That's pretty cool. And one thing also that I got as a question, because like it's the first time we got a brewer on the channel. Like we got some beer connoisseur
really?
and beer enthusiasts, but we never had a brewer. So what is the day of a brewer like?
Well, I mean, I don't even know really how to answer that question, because some days I am the brewer, and some days I'm the janitor, and some days as like a part owner of a business. It's like you're just wearing multiple hats per day.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. You wake up relatively early, and you get a lot of coffee, and you drink more coffee, and then at some point it's time to start drinking beer, and then you got to make beer so you can drink that once so then you go home.
After drinking beer, you
and drink
go
more.
home.
Yeah.
And you drink more.
And then you put the kids to bed, and you do podcasts with two fine gentlemen. There you go.
Oh, thank you for that.
Oh, thanks. Phil's fine. I'm sort of like not fine.
You're not fine.
No. But I'll take the compliment.
There you go.
No, I'm fine. I'm just physically looking. I got the porno stash, dude. I decided that this was a good idea at some point when I had too many, and I was going to a party. Because my in-laws we had this thing called Woodstock Fair, and there's a fair that goes on in Connecticut, and they didn't have it last year. So my in-laws decided that they were going to host their own.
Okay.
So they have a pretty decent sized yard. So everybody, like people had booths, and people did we did lots of barbecue. It was like a cornhole tournament and stuff. And like right before we were about to leave, it was right before I got on with you, Phil, to do the reviews. I was like shaving, and I was like, fuck it, let's go to distance, and just fucking shaved it up, made kept the stash. It's been received in all sorts of manners.
It's good.
I had one guy, one of my wife's uncles straight up look at me and be like, man, that's pathetic. I was like, oh. I didn't expect that.
No, it's like the guy just like going straight ahead. He's like, "Oh, hi, Evan. How are you? Oh, you're pathetic."
It was like we were having like a totally different conversation. He was like, "Yeah, you should talk to Johnny about that."
Yeah.
Fuck. It's like, damn, Jay, tell me how it is, kid.
Like, is there
Holy
someone
crap.
that just like approached you and was like, when are you doing your first porn?
Dude, I don't know. And then I saw that Ron Jeremy just got indicted, so I'm like, oh, maybe it's time to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm fucked. I started too late, man. I started too late. Now everybody's going to jail. So I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing now.
No, it's looking good. Like, it's better than your baby face.
Dude, I'm never doing a baby face ever again. I did that for one of my wife's things when we were just started dating, and I don't know why I did it. And everyone was just like, why would you do that? I was like, yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. I let you all down. I let the nation down that day. So never again. Never again.
Dude,
but
like
hey, talking about taking risks, you see that? That's a That's a segue.
That's a great transition.
I didn't go to school for this shit. Drew, you were involved with a little thing called Vox&Hops.
Yep.
The Brewtal North America. And here I have your edition, the Cryptopsy, the Cold Haze Warm Blood. And I see that it is brewed with some interesting things. And one of those being, I believe, hot sauce, right? Was hot, or did you brew it with hot sauce, or did you? No?
No, it was the hot sauce guys were a sponsor of the whole thing. However, I did hear that some breweries did use the hot sauce in the beer.
Yeah, the half beer.
Would you ever consider doing that?
Hot sauce. I honestly, I used to go to California like at least once or twice a year, and it was at one point I went down and it was like this trend of doing spicy IPAs, and I fucking hated the whole thing. I couldn't wait to come back home. So no, short answer, no. Well, I mean, maybe never say never, I guess, but I don't know if I would do a spicy IPA, let's say. I know some people did like some big ass stouts with like ancho chilies and like cocoa nibs or whatever the fuck, but and that I could see be pretty good. Yeah, and maybe the last spicy beer that I had just ruined my life, so just never want to talk about that again.
They always hurt.
Yeah, they always hurt.
I've had a few jalapeno beers.
Yeah.
And by a few, like we'll say like 5. And one of them was like really done well. Where like it was like it didn't matter. I was like, it's too good, you know. The other 4, at some point in the morning or that night, I was viciously hating my life. As I stayed in the bathroom and listened to podcasts for about an hour because I knew I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever had Stone, Stone. They came out with Crime and Punishment. So it was 2 bottles.
Oh no.
And it was like the big fuckers with like the cork and cage on it. And they were like, I don't know, made with different hot peppers or whatever like that, and it was just, those were the last 2 spicy beers that I can remember, and they were just like unbearably hot, like undrinkable. We brought them out for like a bottle share with a bunch of my friends and all that stuff, and I was like, everybody took a sip, everybody's like nope, and we dumped the rest. And then the worst part is that I bought those in California. I brought them back with me, and they made hot sauces out of them, which I didn't even like. I didn't know what the beer tasted like, but had I knew what the beer tasted like, I didn't have to buy the hot sauces. Why the fuck would I need something hotter than the goddamn beer? So, yeah. So it was like, and then one of my friends, not knowingly, went down to Vermont, bought a whole bunch of beers, and they had the Crime and Punishment bottles, and he bought both of them. Oh. And they were like, they weren't cheap either. They were like 20. I want to say like 26 US.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, it wasn't a cheap beer, and we just laughed at him for it because we brought them out at the next bottle share. It's like, oh, just pick these. But I'm like, you're gonna regret it again.
Of course. Like, it's funny because like the beer that you were talking about, Evan, with hot sauce, it was the half beer. I don't know what brewery, but half.
Broken Goblet.
Band half. Broken Goblet. They did this beer. It's spicy, but with some honey in it. So like it reduced a little bit of the spice, doing like a little bit like chicken wings.
Pooh Bear in it.
So it's doing like chicken wings. So I never tasted it. I want to taste it, but like I don't think they will do that again. Or let's hope they are doing that again, like for another series of Broken Goblet. I would love to have my hand on that. I would love it.
I tried to get my hands on that because Philly's not too far away from me, and that was just like didn't even happen. Not even close. I reached out. I tried everything. It's just like the day like a few days before too, and then the day of, and it was just like not even happening. Even Bone Up over here, they did the fuming mouth. Most of that was because I was lazy, and I didn't want to drive to Boston. You know, I was willing to drive to Philly, but I wasn't willing to drive to Boston. So,
How many of the Brutal North Americas have you guys had?
I got the Kahnawake, I got the Presbytère, Incandescence, Huitième Péché. I got the Beyond Creation. I think I got 4.
this is the only one I've had.
Okay, cool.
Or have. I haven't even had it yet. So, and I'm juiced up because I like blood orange sours and I like blood orange. One of my favorite beers is a blood orange Radler. So I'm like, this is probably going to be good. I'm probably going to enjoy this.
I'll be honest, it's a very good beer. Like, I have to say, you just like, that's why you are one of my favorite brewer, because like when I was in Kahnawake, I just tasted your brews and I was like, oh damn, that's good quality shit. That's quality, dude. Like that's perfect. And speaking of brewing beers, like there's a beer that you brewed recently and I saw that on the social. 0.0% beer, like mostly the non-alcoholic beer that we see on the market is like 0.5, or they're saying, oh, it's free, alcohol free, but it's not really. It's like 0.5 because like they just use a yeast that don't do much alcohol or just de-alcoholize them. So what is like the process by doing like a non-alcoholic, like really non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah, well, it uses all the same ingredients, and it's actually nothing really new. There's a couple other breweries there's probably thousands of breweries that kind of do that. It comes along the same lines as even like some of the European ones. Like if you ever had like the Grolsch Zero or the Heineken Zero and all that stuff. So it's the thing that they call like arrested fermentation, where you add yeast, but there's no sugars for the yeast to consume and therefore make alcohol. So yeah, it's just kind of like the wort, the beer before it becomes beer is just prepared in a certain way where there's just no sugars for the yeast to understand how to use. So there's no like fermentation that happens. What's the point of putting yeast in there? I feel like, because I've done this beer about 3 or 4 times now, and always making little modifications here and there. But I did it once without adding yeast, and I find like the yeast still adds a flavor character to it. So we don't go through a dealkalizer. We don't have a dealkalizing process. Machines are very expensive and all that stuff. This is just kind of a nice little, add on to our line of beers. More and more people are getting out of drinking alcohol for some stupid fucking reason, but yeah, there's people are getting out of that, and for health purposes, I assume, and we want to be able to offer them something when they come down. So, yeah. So I mean, we're going to be canning that because I actually want to. Right now, we have it on tap, but I want to be able to use that tap for something else. Like non-alcoholic beer does not sell very fast, so people are coming to a brewery more or less to drink beer with alcohol in it. So yeah, so I would like to get back to playing with more fun stuff on our Tap 12.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
I would love to taste it. I would really.
I'm happy the way. I mean, you can't really expect it to be 100% like beer. I mean, we're trying to kind of fudge it to make it close enough. But I mean, ideally, it would be like we would have like the fancy machine to dealkalize it and all that stuff. But then we would come down to like the 0.5 kind of range. And
okay. But it's funny you say that it's not like a beer, but in my mind, every non-alcoholic beer that I've tasted and saw, it doesn't look really like a beer. Like I tasted one of the Baos beer. It was very good beer, but the problem is the color is not the same. Doesn't look really like a beer. It looks like a lemon kombucha. Or something. It looks like that, and when I tasted it, I was like, yeah, it tastes weird. Like
Yeah.
it tastes good as a non-alcoholic beer, but can you compare it like an hazy New England IPA?
Yeah.
That's the question I got in my mind, and I was like, because I saw the photos of your beer, like I was like, oh, it looks like a beer. Does it taste like a beer? Let's find out.
It's close. I'm still. I got to do like maybe another one or two runs to get like the perfect color. I just find it's a little bit on the darker side. Um, but if you're looking for a non-alcoholic brand, and I shit you not, and this is like my go-to for like mowing the lawn on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and it's like I'm done around like just before noon, and you just don't feel like, or you feel a little bit guilty for cracking an alcoholic beer. My go-to is honestly like go to Super C or go to Metro grocery store and buy the house brand, which is Selection brand blonde lager. And I fucking shit you not, dude. Like, I've given it to people in a blind taste, and they think it's like, it could be like Bud Light, it could be Budweiser. They're not really sure, but I've already tricked many people to think that like, dude, I felt like the first time I had it, I had like 2 or 3, and I'm like, I'm buzzing right now. I think I'm buzzing, but it's like, it's impossible, you know.
It's the placebo effect. Like you don't know what you're drinking. You think it's beer like with alcohol in it, and you're like, "Oh, I'm buzzing," but no, it's not. It's not really it. I've tasted those one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I don't know where they're brewing those.
I think they come from Ontario, somewhere in Ontario. I think. Yeah.
It's from the blood of the Canadian people.
Yeah. Well, that would be the red. They have a red lager, which I don't like. It's they add caramel coloring to it, and it's a little bit too sweet for me.
It's too much iron.
Too much blood.
Too much blood. By the way, I'm cracking that one.
Nice.
You gave that to me when I saw you in July. The Blind Ladies Pills from the Exploration series, which is a pilsner.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, where do you get the name? Because like I bought the Jaromir Jagr, which was from a hockey player, I think.
Yeah.
And like this one, when I saw the name, I was like, is it like Our Lady Peace?
No.
Oh, okay.
So there's actually a part of the territory, and it's called Blind Ladies Hill. Because there used to be a blind lady that lived up on the hill, and so it's like blind ladies pill, blind pills. There you go.
That's interesting. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love the pills, man.
Oh my god.
Me too. I love that.
I love it a lot. Like it's not a style that I was in love because. Like, I thought, oh, pills is like Budweiser, so it doesn't taste good. But then I tasted some great one, and I was like, holy shit, that is great stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, in a night, man, if you have like 3 big IPAs, you're saturated, you just need to change speeds a little bit. Grab yourself a pilsner or any sort of lager that might be up on the board of wherever you're at, and just have one of those, and then you could go back to your IPAs.
Yeah, that's something I will do tonight because like I cracked the all right. I'm cracking this one, and maybe I will crack a second bottle after that.
There you go.
I tend to have 1 speed.
It's
never good. Yeah, it's
I
always
tend to got 2 speed.
It's always I've never had it's not even that. It's like subconsciously it's like you got to catch them all. Like Pokemon. I'm like, I haven't had that before. I got to have that. And then they're like, do you want to taste it? I'm like, no, I want it. I want the whole thing. I want the whole experience. And, 6 later. And I'm like, how long has it been? And you look, it's like, oh my God, an hour. You're like, oh shit.
It's funny because I did that recently. I've been to Lafos in Donnacona, And
Right.
I think you know La Fosse, Mr. Drew.
Yeah.
Like the guy is coming in Kahnawake just to get. I think it's like, is it taba? How do we say it?
Chewing tobacco.
Tobacco. Yeah.
Yeah, chewing tobacco. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't saw like GP, but I saw other guys from the brewery, and I tasted like 4 fucking beers like in tasters were so fucking good. I think in Donnacona, this is the best. This is one of the best brewery. I love La Shed, which is like their like it. Let's say they're challenger in a way, but I prefer La Fosse. It's just so much better.
I love La Fosse. Every time JP brings down some beers, they don't last long in our fridge.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. Yeah. So, do you have other question, Evan?
Oh, I got tons.
You got tons? Let's go, my dude.
I got one that's kind of been percolating up in the little chasm that is the emptiness in my head. And it's kind of a strange question, but it's one that I'm curious about. Being from Canada, being on a reservation and sourcing from the area, I feel, for a lot of beers or something, trying to get the natural kind of like the taste of Canada, I would say. Mm-hmm. Is there another country that you would like to open a brewery in to almost have access to that same idea of sourcing from the area to be able to brew with, to get the taste, the different tastes and flavors and the different cultures involved in?
Honestly, not really. I mean, I have thought about man, especially during COVID, you just want to get the fuck out of here, like you're stuck in your house for how many months, shit like that. Like, what if we just went on like one of these little islands in the middle of nowhere, just set up a brewery there? Like, and I'm like, how can I get ingredients? And I got to use their water. What happens if it's like all weird and shit, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a spot in mind. I mean, there'd be a bunch of places that I would just like to go, just to go drink beer, not necessarily make any. You know what I'm saying? Like they're already pretty good at doing it. So
I have a place. I would go to New Zealand. And
there
just
you
for
go.
the record, I can't brew for shit. I have the book, but I every time I go to read it, I get bored, and then I end up just drinking beer instead of learning how to make it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would go to New Zealand, and then I would kind of like find a place that's near some mountains, and I would do a Lord of the Rings like dwarf themed place, and I would call it Yeast Mountain.
Nice. There you go.
That's what I would do.
You know what? I'm just gonna take your answer. I'm going to New Zealand. Fuck this, man.
Like I would go like on the other extreme. I would go in Norway in a cave.
Yeah.
Doing a black metal stout.
Keep black metal in Norway.
Keep black metal and like doing with the cheapest equipment ever, but doing still a great stout.
Like you would stir with like straight just guitars, like guitar necks. They're just like
No, you do like in the video with Af is like just like Peter taking his guitar and like, okay, what is more metal than putting a guitar in the brew?
Yeah, exactly.
The new wood aged beer,
Oh, I can see it now. So Drew, I got another one. We had Noah Forrest on. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out. That was a great interview of beerism. And we talked about the correlations between the beer world and the metal world. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you have any thoughts on why they're so similar? Why we are here at this moment, being that we are of the same, the same family?
I don't think I got to that point in the podcast yet because I started watching that episode. But I don't know, man. And I guess in my best Noah Foray impersonation. Well, um, beer and metal. You know? That was a terrible Noah Foray. That was a terrible Noah Foray impersonation. Why does it go together? Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't, when I was playing in the metal band, it's just like that's what we did. You go to shows and you have beers before, you have beers during, you have beers after. But I don't know. And then eventually we grow up and then start breweries. Like I'm not the only one. There's the there's the Phil, help me out here. There's a fermentor, Jeff Fortin.
Yeah. Fermentor.
Yeah.
Patrick Martin.
Yeah.
Also,
There's
Patrick.
there's also the guys over at Mutoid.
I don't know the name of those guys, but I've been to Mutoid. Yeah.
Yeah, but just to say like that,
In the
I guess
metal?
as
In the metal, like there's like Huitième Péché in Quebec that is doing some pretty metal beer. Like he's doing like a black metal series.
okay,
Like just going with some black metal bands from Quebec and doing some stouts, mostly stouts. Like the Incandescence one that was made for Vox&Hops, it was made in correlation with that series.
yeah,
Because he did one with Monarch, he did one with La Chasse Galerie. Like it was like great black metal band from Quebec.
yeah.
And just did some great stouts, and they
Because
were fucking great.
Even Presbyterian, they do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
They did that beer with Richard Methan. And,
Le Presbytère, yeah. Like, he's doing a shit ton of beer. Like, what Francis told me about those beer is like, it's beer with Richard. It's more like Richard is just like, oh, let's do tribute for that album.
Okay.
For of that band. Like, I got this one, is Nice Beer to Die, which is like double buck with some absinthe leaf in it. And it was for the band Anne of Green. I've already talked about it in the podcast, but I will retell it because I don't care. So yeah. Oh, and funny enough, recently one of those beers, because I had two of them like still in my stash. One of them exploded.
Yeah, ooh. I had that experience as well.
Yeah, one of them exploded, and I thought like doing it like in temperature room. I thought it was going to be good because it's a dark beer. So I was like, oh, it's going to be fine and all. Well, no, not fine at all.
Yeah, but I mean, getting back to Evan's question, I mean, even like the band Allegiant, they did the video for All Hail Science, and I had to Google it while you're talking, Phil. But it's Black Sky Brewery in Denver. Burial, for instance, is the former singer of the Winter Solstice. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. A bunch of metal people are just into beer, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how we all got into that, though.
I'll be honest,
like
it's going to be that, and because like there's BOS podcast with C that is doing like the same thing, but he tries to invite more hip hop in the brewery world. So I'm like, oh, good for you. Like, metal is still king in the craft beer world in a way, but like, let's invite more. Let's invite variety of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's invite everyone. Let's be like open-minded. That's what we need. Imagination.
I think that like for hip hop and rap culture, it's about the most expensive things. You want the most expensive things. So you want like those crazy ass bottles of Patron and Hennessy and all that fun stuff because that's expensive.
24K beer.
Yeah. You know what, Evan? That's exactly it though, because when we first started the brewery, my business partner Matt reached out to this guy who is a rapper here in Montreal, and he goes like, "Hey man, like to like help us kick it off. Would you do like, I don't know, a music video or whatever you guys do like for rap things, you know? And he's like, oh, dude, like honestly, like rap is all about the like you said, the expensive things. Like they want the, you know, you got to have the bottles of Patron or the Ciroc or whatever the hell is in trend now.
Mhm.
And then he's like, but, and this is how Craig Thorne came on my radar. But he's like, but I do know this guy who's interested in beer, and I think he's starting some sort of podcast about or some sort of thing about beer and rap. And sure enough, that's when the first time I heard about Craig Thorne. And I think like maybe 2 months later, it's like we end up doing a we end up being on his show for BAOS.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that real quickly, I mean, we went in depth with this with Noah, but I think really what it comes down to is the ideas of extreme and how in metal you want to be like you just get more and more extreme, and in beer in a lot of sense people tend to get more and more extreme, you know, whether it's the percentage of ABV, whether it's, you know, the styles, what you're putting into it. Like everybody wants to do like the craziest looking things or whatever, you know, have that thing that everybody's known for. It's like, you know, listening to I don't know, Phil, help me out here. We'll say like Deicide, like Once Upon a Cross, you know, like people always will want to go back to that. You know, it's like going back to your favorite beer, like your most heaviest beer. I think of like, what's that one? Flying Monkey Sparkle Puff. That fucking thing is pretty for a beer. It's pretty intense. And that's like, you know, for people, it's a staple. And so it's almost like that kind of like King Kong hit your chest. Like, I like this, or like I had that or whatever. And like, that's kind of like the thing.
Actually, just while we're shooting the shit, I just Googled it, and actually Kerrang! Magazine came out with an article exactly with your question. It's just like, why are so many metal bands releasing their own beers? So there's actually a whole little dialogue about it. I didn't have a chance to really read it, but kind of grazing on it. Basically, they are playing the extremes. You know, like it's kind of easy. Like if you're teaming up with a black metal band, well, you just make something black. If you're, you know, every band wants to go for like the 10 to 12% thing. You know. I remember actually talking to the sommelier from Unibrew, and they had released the À Tout le Monde, the Megadeth beer, and and he's like, I'm like, honestly, like I never really even had. I can't even think that I had Fanes du Monde, which is their 10%er, and then I think I had, and then like the next one I had was Tout le Monde, obviously in very different times, but I thought it was pretty decent, you know. And he's like, oh man, we got so much shit for this one because it was like because it was only 4.5%, and Megadeth fans are like, what the fuck? This should have been like 14.5%. So that's actually why they had to re-release another Megadeth beer and make it like 9%. I think it's at now.
Yeah, but Dave Mustaine isn't cool.
Dave Mustaine doesn't. Dave Mustaine doesn't even fucking drink beer. He doesn't drink anymore. He's like, he's recovered. He's at, you know, he should be coming down drinking my non-alcoholic beer actually. But so Dave Mustaine actually does not. He was just seeing like Metallica and all the other guys come out. Oh shit, am I like shooting darts here? No, but he saw like you know, Metallica and all that stuff come out with like beers, and then he went up to his manager like, I want a beer. And so, you know, somebody in his organization probably did a Google search or something and found Unibrew somehow.
Just like that, the other beer that they made with Megadeth is called Saison 13.
Yeah.
So like,
it's 9%.
It's a beer with apricot. It's like a pale ale with apricot, and it's only 6.1.
Oh, 6.1.
But I'll be honest, like it's not that metal bands should make metal beer like fucking heavy in alcohol. I think mostly metal bands just they should concentrate like on what makes them them
Yeah.
and what the beer represents them. Like if we take the Cryptopsy that you made with Cryptopsy, like Cryptopsy is an avant-garde band in my opinion. They are death metal, but it's avant-garde in a way. Like the Cryptopsy you made, it's like
it's delicious, by the way.
It represents them a lot. And this one, the Cold Haze Warm Blood, also represents them. It's something that is not like the first beer you made. It's like, oh, it's 4%, but like, oh, Cryptopsy metal. Like, why is not like that heavier like the Cold Haze Warm Blood? And the answer is simple, and Matt answered it very well. It's avant-garde.
Yeah.
It's like they were over the time. They were like in front of everyone else. Like for the genre.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like with Cryptopsy, which for the people who are watching or listening, we did a collaboration with Cryptopsy, and we called it Cryptopsy. So crisp as in like a lager. So we did we called it a New World lager because we used New World hops in it. Matt, the vocalist, he loves Mosaic hops, so we just pound the shit out of it with Mosaic hops. It's a 1 hop beer, and then he was just like, make it soft, make it juicy, because that's what Chris Donaldson likes. He likes more like those New England IPAs. The idea of it being Cryptopsy was kind of my idea. I was just driving home one day and just got this idea like Cryptopsy, Cryptopsy, and I like texting while driving, just like I just sent him the text message like Cryptopsy, and he's like, I love it. When do we start? But then like you have to get the band involved and all that stuff. Like, all right, this is like my stupid idea, but like let's add some flair to it. That's where like Mosaic hops and all that stuff came in, and like
was Flo really into it?
You know what, he was like, I don't know if he was into it at first, but I know that he came down personally when the brewery was closed, and like I opened up the door for him. I'm always working in the back anyways, but he came down and he was just like, dude, Matt gave me a couple of cans. I was fucking floored. Like, I didn't think I would like this. And he was like, it was awesome. So he came down to get some more. But yeah, it was just great to see like the whole band kind of revolve around that. And actually, like if you watched, we have a YouTube video about like Matt and Chris Donaldson came down to, we did a little video together and all that stuff. And that was really like Chris's first time drinking the beer on there. So it could have really went either way. And I guess like Chris behind his giant beard at the time was just like, yeah, it's pretty good. He's a man of many words, I guess. But Matt was telling me afterwards, like they got some flack for some people, like, hey, it should have been like, should have been higher in alcohol and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, what do you do when you listen to metal? It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you turn up the fucking volume. So then that's what you do. You don't turn up the alcohol, you turn up the volume. You drink more, dude. That's how much more metal is turning up the volume, Yeah. So
I like that. I like that.
I think the best way we can say it's like, the trash beer, like from the Vox&Hops Brewtal North America, like the Chris trash beer. It's like, it's a Grotsky. It's like 3%. Yeah. But the thing is, you have to drink a lot to feel the trash metal. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, you don't need that much of alcohol to be like fucking heavy. You just need something that hits. And a lot of Grotsky like this, it just hits. Yeah. So yeah, like the more metal is the less ABV. I think it's more metal to have less ABV. We should make like a 2%.
I think that
then you'll be able to watch the whole show, You'll be able to get to I've been to shows where people haven't even made it to the headliner. Like that's what you paid for, people. Like, but you're fucking shit faced in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that people's ideas of extremes always just go towards in metal the speed and in beer obviously the alcohol content, but I really like to see beers that are extreme just because of like what they put in them. You know, like obviously we talked about hot sauce. I've seen a lot of like the apricot stuff now. I started to see like as dumb as it is, like the glitter. Like people just put the glitter in for the looks and things like that because it's fun, you know, and like that's what it's supposed to be. Like it's you're just supposed to have fun. I've seen crazy things. Roots. I saw one with horseradish.
Okay. Horseradish.
Yeah. It's, you know, so definitely like my extremes just go towards like, what can you make drinkable? Like, what do you think can be drinkable? You know, how can we turn this into something that somebody could go, you know, and like,
and you know what?
with it.
We've seen it. Actually, it's kind of an interesting point that you bring up because we have seen it like multiple times in the beer world. It's like, you know, like look at like the mid 2000s IPA trend where it was just like, how bitter can we get it? It was like the IBU wars, you know, like these West Coast IPAs were like basically paint thinner at some point, you know, how bitter they were. And then like now it's like let's dry hop the shit out of it so that like when we're bottling or canning it, it's just oozing green and, you know, not beer or whatever like that. And then we're seeing that trend again with like, I don't know if you guys have that down where you are, Evan, but the smoothie beers, like we used to have just normal fruit beers, but now it's like we have to murder the shit out of it and just like it has to be like unrecognizable of like there can't be a trace of beer that can be recognized in it. I mean we're suckers for punishment. We're doing that shit too. But yeah, it's like I guess when you bring up the extreme part, you know, metal is very like, what is your extreme? And then you're gonna hit that. And then when it comes to beer, it's like, what's your extreme? So you're looking for like a couple of weird items that might be in beer, and then some people are just looking for like, how much shit can you pack into there? And that's where I want it. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm like, what happened to like normal fruit beers? Like, did anybody just put like a reasonable amount of fruit where you're just like, you're drinking a beer, you know it's a beer, but it's like, you know, it has raspberry or whatever the fuck you want to put in there, apples or whatever. Yeah. But and like, yeah, there's a hint of it, but now it's like we have to make it look like, you know, raspberry puree, which is like the murdered fruit beers now. But
yeah, like I love Smoothie Sour. Like the reason I've been to Montreal last week is because of Smoothie Sour, because my mom is now in love with Smoothie Sours. It's like the only style of beer that she can drink a bottle of it.
Yeah.
She can drink a can of it because mostly I gave her a can and she's like, oh yeah, but can you share it with me because I cannot drink it all. And I just gave her a can and she just ended up like this. Like it's fruit puree. So it's like, oh, drink it. And she's like, it's like a yop. You know, like the yogurt in bottle.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing with her. It's like you just drink it like this, but she liked it. So I've been to Brewski. I had no choice. I paid a $25 parking for 25 minutes because I just been to Brewski.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And after that, La Canette, and just took some second bottle. So yeah,
there you go.
All right, I got a question for you guys. You pick 3 ingredients, outlandish ingredients that you would love to see in a beer. It doesn't have to be the same beer, but just you know, ingredients that maybe they're a series. Maybe it's like a series of beers, and it's called like, hey, why would you drink this?
Hmm.
I'll go first.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Inspire us.
My first one would be sweet chili. Right. I would do sweet chili. My next one would be spicy mustard. Because you can get the little mustard fucking thingy.
Yeah.
Not the sauce, but like the actual taste. And then one beer that I really would love to see one day, but will probably never happen ever, is sauerkraut.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I love sauerkraut. So like, dude, make it a whole Reuben sandwich.
Yeah. I don't know. Like a lot of things that I can think of, I'm like, I think I've already seen them in beers. Because I always kind of think of like what's already going to work.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well,
because,
that's the challenge. You got to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about potatoes. Putting potatoes in beer. Potatoes, like doing a French fries beer.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people do.
Like
I've
something
seen people
crispy.
do French, not
Like
French fry
a
beer, but
poutine.
That would be
Poutine
poutine beer.
Poutine beer.
No, like gravy beer. Like
Yeah.
put gravy in beer.
Okay, so I shit you not. We'll have to do a little bit of research after this, though. I'm getting like totally off topic of the question though, but there's a customer that comes in every now and then, and he's this Russian guy, super nice guy and all that stuff, and he was telling me about, because he watches a lot of like Russian online content, I guess like YouTube or whatever like that, and he was like checking out like I guess what we're doing here, beer podcasts or metal podcasts. I don't know if you listen to that. We listen to like metal podcasts and stuff like that in Russia, and he was saying that the trend going on there is, so we have smoothie sours, they have soup sours, so they make the Gosa style of beer, so that's kind of like sour and salty, and then they like model it after like their favorite soup, because I guess in Russia they eat a lot of fucking soup. Because maybe it's cold. Shit, I don't know. I've never been there, but
yeah, it's cold as fuck.
Yeah, so they have like a bunch of different soups, and they're like, there's I guess some breweries, or maybe there's one, I don't know, but they're making like, they're putting tomato paste in there and basil or whatever grows out there, I guess. But I haven't looked it up. But he was like, yeah, there's a couple of soups, and he was like naming off soup names, but I don't speak Russian. I was just like, that's wild. It's like, so would you do something like that? I'm like, hell no. I would try it. Make one? I don't know about making one.
Yeah, but try it. Like like last time I saw you, like you made us taste like a beer. It was like saison or like a blend. I'm not sure what was it. Like I was on the edge of going out, like, and just going back in Pont Rouge, and then you just bring beers, and I'm like, oh, maybe one last.
It's always interesting because I like to ask people these questions, because my brother is in the Marines, and I saw him recently, and we were talking about. Side note, I had just gotten, he just started, he loves Belgian blondes now, because I needed somebody else in the family to like beer with me. I didn't want to be an outcast. So anyway, we were talking, and we came up with the logical sense that if you can make it into an MRE, then you can make it into a beer. Right? If you can take freaking pasta and sauce, and you can make it into a little dry package that you add water to, and then it tastes just like it, then yeah, we could make beer out of anything.
Yeah. I'm thinking about something. Like I said, gravy. Let's put pizza in it.
Pizza. Yeah.
Let's put pizza.
We'll go full
and-
fucking nuts. I love the story of when Wormtown was doing, they did a collab with Table Talk Pies, with little fucking tiny pies. And they did a whole bunch of different beers in that series. And I love the stories that they'll tell you where they're like, yeah, we came to brewery and we went to go do the batches and stuff. And when it came to ingredients, we just started throwing tons of pies into the fucking vats. It was like 50, 60 pies. We were just throwing them in there. And it's like great stuff. I'm like, dude, you can do that with anything. I'm like, just throw fucking whole chunks of turkey into it. You're like, woo, we're just fucking go nuts.
Wow.
I'm sure there would people be into that, you know.
Mhm.
I'm looking up this soup beer thing though. It's a thing, man. It's even hit the U.S. already. There's a brewery in Florida that did a Tom Yum Thai soup beer.
Ooh.
Just wild, man.
They
Evan,
saw
you gotta
it.
get. How far is Port Orange, Florida, from your house? Going on a road trip.
Depends on who you're asking. You know,
Yeah.
I could probably get that. I'll just call them, be like, "Hey, can you ship this?"
You can ship it.
And they don't give a shit about anything. They'll probably be like, "Yeah, we'll just give it to the cart boy here. And he'll fucking drive it up."
Yeah.
They don't care about nothing down there, dude.
You just gotta be careful though, because I heard bad things start with a man from Florida or something like that. So.
Yeah, have you ever been to Florida, Drew?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say any unfortunate things about Florida, but let me tell you, it's too fucking humid down there, man.
Yeah. Listen, besides Disney World, which is amazing that it's there to begin with,
Yeah.
it's like one of the most miserable places in the world.
But you know what? And this is why it's like they have the cheapest alcohol prices in America is because you gotta have some when it's that miserable, like that fucking hot, just humid. It's not
Yeah.
hot, it's humid, which is terrible.
You know what's crazy too is like their ABV distinctions and stuff are all crazy too. Like they can go all the way up. I might be wrong, but I think they can go all the way up to like almost fucking like 20% before they start calling it anything else. It's like nuts.
Like Florida is like it's another country, I think. It's like they're unruly. I know nobody from Florida, man, but it's unruly.
You know
down
what's
there.
it's nuts. This is what happens when a place like you survive on tourism. Like everything they do is because of tourism, and like everybody shows up there because they want to go to Florida and they want to enjoy the Keys and stuff. But
Yeah.
that just basically means that they can do no wrong. It doesn't matter what the fuck happens, what they do, anything. It's just they are forever going to be with a constant supply of income. They could totally crash their own economy. It's never going to happen. They could never flip that shit upside down.
No.
A funny note though is that every year they lose inches on their soil because the sea is slowly taking them back.
Yeah. I mean, I heard that a little bit about California too. Everybody's like there's coastline just disappearing. But
Yeah.
whatever, man. You live by the water, you got shit to go down.
Yeah, listen, there's a reason we only live for maybe 100 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be alive when the shit show really hits the fan.
Man, I read an article. The sun is blowing up, but it's gonna take 10 billion years before it blows up.
Yeah, isn't that
But we'll already
just
be dead in
for you?
No. Like I have this app that like I don't know, condenses the news for you, and but in that article is also talking about that we'll be dead in 1 billion years, like humankind, because when the sun dies, it like expands, and then it kind of like engulfs all the shit, and then in 1 billion years, it wouldn't even touch Earth. It's just it'll get to a certain point where it's like it'll be too hot here.
We'll destroy our atmosphere.
Well, water will just evaporate, and like that's it. We're all dead after that. So 1 billion years, live it up, people.
Yeah, I kind of hope that reincarnation isn't real because of things like that.
Yeah.
I hear things and it's like I'm not the most religious or spiritual dude, so I hear these things and in the back I'm always like, it's ridiculous. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
I don't want to come back as like some fucking super rich dude and then like live a life of leisure and then find out that I'm dead at like 30 because the fucking sun decided it was gonna get super big.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
You know,
I finally hit the lottery.
I'm like,
lost.
but when
yeah.
When I read that article though, it's like, and it said that we have 1 billion years left. I'm like, we're not making that. Let's be real. Like, we're blowing this shit up after like, I don't know, give us 50 to 100 years. We're on the wrong path. Like, we're already shooting ourselves way in the foot, you know. But
yeah, like I don't want to reincarnate. Like I heard like
I want to go to
if you
Jupiter.
don't want to be like only incinerated and just like put your ashes like somewhere else, you can't put it like in a tree. Like you just grow a tree and you put it like you just put your ashes like in the tree and the tree would grow up like for
That's what
I don't know
wife
how many
wants me
years.
to do with her. Because she
Like-
assumes that I'm going to survive and she's going to die first. And she's like, could you plant me as a tree? And I'm like, honestly, that'd be one of those morbid fucking things. Like I wake up every day and be like, I got to go water my wife. And just fucking walk over there with a little fucking thing.
and
You don't do
what
that.
happens if you forget one day and the tree dies?
And the tree dies. I mean, I don't know, man.
Then you got to live with that, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
not
but
much
you gotta-
longer.
Yeah, but you gotta live with that in a way like
And then it's like I can't sell my property.
But can we say something? Death is normal. Death should be normal. Death is not something that just appears like that. Oh, you die. No, like you there's birth. And there's death.
you die. You cease to exist.
Yeah, but like you can't just like be a tree and live a little bit, and if you die, you die.
Yeah, but is it
it's
really
like reincarnation?
Is it really you or is it a tree at that point? You know, because like you can't just put ashes in the ground and expect little human hands to start popping out as it's a tree.
You become the tree.
You know?
You become the tree from Zelda.
Nobody's Groot from fucking the Guardians Galaxy, dude. They're just like, you know, you don't just come back as Groot, you know, just spaciously talking like I am Groot.
Like there's a dude that just like fake about it and was like, hey, I want to reincarnate as Groot.
You know what I want is when I die, if reincarnation's real, shoot me into like deep space, and I hope I land somewhere like I don't know, Jupiter or Saturn, and I can just fucking reincarnate as whatever the fuck lives there, a single cell organism or something.
Dude, no one lives there.
Live out my life floating for eternity. That'd be
I
sweet.
just want to become a cell.
I want to become a single cell with mitochondria and shit, dude. That's all I want.
It's the powerhouse of the cell. No.
Yeah. And then all the other cells would be like, don't you want to be something more? And it was like, yeah, I tried that. It kind of sucked. Just be happy or you.
Like, I've been a human before, but it sucked.
Multi-cell organisms are overrated, and I just kind of float. Spewing my nonsense.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go, like, we always do some shout out, but before we go, I always do that with some guests. I made a logo.
You made a logo.
Like, now we are in the part.
You have to display it at the brewery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Drew the
first time I got it.
Nice.
So like I saw your
That's your
nickname
name
was
tag.
yeah.
Hey.
So Drew the Brewer.
We gotta
So,
get
like-
name tags now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not. Yeah, I have to make name
shit.
tags for Kahnawake.
Yeah, now you're gonna do one for everybody.
Yeah, like, I do one for everyone because like it's just fun to do it. So like I did it like that.
So you hand draw that?
Huh?
Do you do it by hand?
What do you mean?
How do
Sorry.
you draw that? How did you draw
I
that?
draw it on my phone.
Okay. Wow. Shit. On your phone.
I draw it on my
Fuck.
phone, like this one. I draw it on my phone because mostly I do it like on Illustrator, like from
Yeah.
Adobe. Like I just like it. I just finished it on Illustrator, but this week it was a long week, so I had no time. So I was like, oh, just do it like that, and yeah, like it looks good. It looks good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So yeah,
way better than I'd be able to do on my phone. Because I could barely press OK on my phone.
But yeah, I just did it like that, and yeah, I will send it to you if you want to use it. You use it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use it, you don't use it. You just keep it in your phone, and you think about me.
If you don't use it, Phil will be very sad.
You know, I think there's not a lot of people that use what I draw. So I'm like,
I use it.
Yeah, you use it. I think Yolen's using it. Yeah. But I never saw other people using it for other things. So
maybe it's personal stuff. They use personal things.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm like,
you know what?
I don't care.
You know what, Phil? I'm putting on a can.
Ooh.
That could be amazing.
It'll be like an Easter egg. It's not gonna be like the whole can design. It's gonna be like I gotta put together a can for a collaboration, and we have a couple ideas, but yeah, I'll sneak it in there.
Yeah, you know, if you need someone to do graphic stuff and infographic stuff, I'm in because I'm studying in that.
Well, really?
Just to say, if you need someone to do graphic stuff. Oh, by the way, funny fact, the can of the Cryptopsy, the Cold Haze Warm Blood. You know who did the information stuff on it? I'm the one that did it. Like Matt just wrote me like 8 p.m. just calmly, and he was
Evan,
like,
hold up the can. Hold up the can. What part did you do on that?
I did. Okay, turn it up a little bit. Yeah, the text over there.
Hold on, I gotta change view. I'm in like speaker view.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This.
Okay, so you did like the whole layout stuff.
Yeah, all the text, and go show the front, Evan. The logo, no, but all like the Cold Haze Warm Blood and the name, because like at first it was going to be a NEIPA, and then he just told me, hey, change it for a Double NEIPA. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that. Let's do it like that. I had the information and all, so it was already done, but there's something that he wanted me to do. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, we had to make some changes on it. Yeah. Yeah, because the drawing was done by another Philip. So basically the whole cans were done by Philip.
Yeah, Filip Ivanovic.
Yeah.
They were done by Phil's.
Phil's.
Yeah, the Phil's.
Phil's pills, you know.
Phil's Pills, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, Phil's Pills. That could be a good name for a beer.
Hey, we should when I end up going to Canada, we're gonna have to host your dating show there at Kahnawake.
Dating show?
Yeah, we're gonna make Phil a dating show.
Okay.
Listen, and here's the best part. We're not gonna advertise it, and nobody's gonna know. We're just gonna show up with microphones and act like we're something big, and hopefully we can get Phil a date. Yeah, we're gonna speed date. I'm gonna spitball questions, and we're gonna see what we can do.
That sounds like fun, man.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna get fucking banned from Canada in like a day. They'd be like, don't let this fucking kid back in. I don't know what the hell he's up to, and he's just dumb. Get him out of here.
God damn it, dude. You got some
let's do shout outs, man.
Yeah, let's do shout outs. I think it's time. Yeah, it's time.
All right. Drew, you can shout out anything. Bands, brewery, person, mother, whatever.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll shout out the crew over at KBC because they're probably going to be watching this at some point. Everybody's doing a good job over there. I'm very proud of them. Shout out everybody who's going to be at Beer Garden this Friday and Saturday. We're very happy and proud and elated and whatever other adjective you can add in there to be part of that. Getting a call out of the blue to join that kind of lineup with Sir John and Buck Canada and all those big boys. That's a real nice honor to be part of that. Yeah, and I'd give a shout out to you guys, man. This is I know you guys been working hard at getting this podcast going, and just happy to be part of it. You guys have now been doing this for a year.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
It's been in the last podcast I listened to. I just picked one at random. You guys were started in September, so now we are in September. No?
Yeah, we started in September.
Man, did we miss our own anniversary?
Yeah, we missed our own anniversary.
Wow.
Happy anniversary, man.
Imagine that, huh? We've been so busy. Like
the guest had to remind you about your anniversary. Shit.
No, listen, but that means we made it.
There you go.
Tell Bob.
You know what? Let's say at the end of September, it's our anniversary. We don't care. Let's say that.
Honestly, can't even remember because one day what had happened was randomly I was on something, I thought, and then we were on a Zoom call as always with the Thirsty Thursday gang, and Phil was like, "Would you really do a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. Because I'm not smart, but I got things to say." And he was like, "All right, bet." And then we fucking started doing this.
Yeah, because like we were talking about podcast, and then like in the chat, I was like, I don't know why I hit Evan because I thought we got some chemistry in a way. So
because we are both pretty close in age.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then I thought, oh, let's do a podcast together. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah, no, thank you for the shout out.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
And shout out Kahnawake because Kahnawake is making some brews. Hey, everyone, if you go in Kahnawake, if you go like in Montreal, go in Kahnawake, go take some Drew's brews, and that's it.
There you go.
You should totally get Matthew McConaughey to do a live photo of this next time.
Yeah. Actually, I just saw another brewery come out with a beer called All Right, and they really did like a pretty close sketch of Matthew McConaughey. So I'm like, man, I wonder who's gonna get sued first.
Probably them. Because you took his character from
Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
But
see,
not
I saw
officially.
that and I was like, oh well. Yeah.
But not officially because actually there is a guy from the territory here. He's not alive anymore. But when we released that can, his family came to see us and they're like, "This is awesome because it looks exactly like my brother or my father, like whoever the family members were." And he was an iron worker too. And so like on the label, he's got an ironworking helmet as if he's coming back home from work or whatever. And they were like they were like just blown away. So it looks like Matthew McConaughey, but it also looks like a real person who's not Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey is also real, I think.
Well, it's also, I mean, the Dazed and Confused character, I mean, he isn't real either. He's just in a movie. They're not a real person.
Exactly.
There you go. All right. Phil?
I have a shout out. Like, I heard like one song of that band, but they are releasing this album like very soon at the end of September. It's a band the name is very weird. It's called LLNN, like 2L 2N.
I've heard of them.
They are making like they are making this new album. It's called Unmaker. So I heard of it because Matt Mingaki or Hop Daddy
Overlord.
The Hop Daddy Overlord is doing a great featuring on that album. I heard the song and wow, it's amazing. If you know like a band, there's a band called Frontierer or something. There's a band like that is doing like noise music, metal and all. But this is more like organic. This is more like listenable, to be honest. Like I love Frontierer, but that band, LLNN, fucking amazing. I just love that band a lot. It's like sludge. It's very intense. It's a little bit electronic and a bit weird at times. Fucking great album. Like, I'm excited for it to come out. I think the song is called Desecrator. So go check that song, everybody. And yeah, that's my shout out.
Phil, I also listened to that song. And you're a music guy. What tuning did you think that was in? I think they did like drop X or
I think it was drop G or something.
It was fucking low though.
it was drop G because like I heard some G a lot, so I'm like, oh, it's drop G. It's something like that. It's slow AF, but it's so good. Let's do some gent like Steve Terberry.
Yeah.
All right. Mine, I'm going to be going to a show tomorrow. It was the first show of many a year, about a year and a half, 2 years. I will be going to the show happening at Ralph's, Mourned, Blame God, Blood, Tithe, and Eyeball. By the time this podcast episode comes out, that show would have come and gone. But my shout out is going to be Blood Tithe. They are going to be releasing an EP, Haunted by Angels, which releases tomorrow, September 10th, 2021. 3-song. They put it out as their release show pretty late, probably like the beginning of the week. I'm pretty excited. There's going to be a little bit of some exclusive merch dropping at that show. All 4 are just bands that deserve way more credit. Mourned is obviously on Maggot Stomp, and definitely a band that I need, like, I want a full length. Like, I want more content, just because I think that they can, we just saw Fuming Mouth get signed to Century, right? It was Century.
Yeah, I think no, it's Nuclear Blast.
Nuclear Blast, sorry. It was Nuclear Blast. So they're local guys out in like Rockland. And so I definitely can see Mourned being one of these bands that, maybe doesn't get signed to the big, but can compete with those touring bands, can definitely go on those bigger tours as a supporting band to start. And, I could definitely see it happening. I mean, I listen to Frozen Soul. I listen to all these other guys that are just, right up there kicking ass. And I think they could be doing the same. And just excited to see what they got. Blood Tithe for sure. Got a lot of talent. And, excited to see them play, excited to go to a real fucking show, and excited to, get back in the mosh pit again. So, man,
that's perfect.
I gotta say, Drew, you're one of my favorite children. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on.
Say that for everyone.
No, I don't.
No, that's the thing. He doesn't.
I don't. No.
Thanks for having me on, though, guys. It's been a blast.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, for sure.
We have to do like a second part. Like, we have to do a second part with everyone.
one day, what I throw around a lot of ideas. We have a big episode coming up in December. Me and Phil actually had to revise it and redo the layout, but the new layout I like better than the old layout. And what I do want to do is eventually, and I hope, Drew, you'll be a part of this, but I want to get a few brewers together, because we're actually going to be having another brewer on hopefully soon, a guy here that is, also really cool. And then I want to get some brewers together, and I want to come up with some questions and kind of do like a panel of questions. And it's just literally going to be shit that I think of. It's not even going to be like anything really structured, but it's going to be fun. So, like I said, Drew, thank you very much. This has been
thank you, guys.
Pleasure. It's been awesome. And as always, thank you all for tuning in and listening. I'm Evan.
And I'm Phil. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next episode. Cheers.
Chaz.